This is the BendPak full rise scissor lift, and I'm thrilled because it's my full rise scissor lift. I bought it exactly a year ago and I installed it in my home garage, and it has literally changed the way I do everything here in the garage. Now, I've had dozens of cars on this lift, and I have a really good idea now of what this lift is capable of, what it's not good at doing, and some of the things that I would change if I had it to do all over again. So let's talk about the way this thing is constructed and the reason why I bought this lift. It's super heavy duty. Come down here and check this out. I'm gonna grab a tape measure. Now we're gonna look down here at the scissor arms. Now this has just got one hinge on the scissor, which I kind of like. There's less hinges and it's going to be a little bit smoother in my opinion. Look at that steel. It's 1.25 inch thick steel. This is a heavy duty unit. It'll support 7,000 pounds, which is good enough to do even a 3/4 ton pickup. Now up here, you've got a 5/16 of an inch steel plate. On this plate are 2 rubber pads that come with it. Now, as part of the kit, you've got a larger block and a smaller one. Now, when your car is up on these larger blocks, it's rubber, so it's gonna tend to move a little bit more when the car is on it. So if you're pushing, using a pry bar or something like that, the car's gonna rock on you. There's nothing you can do about that. It's just this rubber squishing. Now, on this smaller block here, you're gonna get less of that, but you've got less clearance. So if you've got a muffler that comes down or something like that that you don't want hitting the top of this lift, you're gonna want the bigger block. This is the exact size of a Cadillac CTS. You gotta use blocks like this. These are too big. That's just the way it is. This is a different method of lifting a car though. If you've got a 2-post lift, you're just gonna have those pads that can telescope. This is not like that. So anywhere on the surface of this lift, including over here, this is an extension. Now this is what I tend to put the front of the car on, so I call this the front of the lift. This extension comes out about 4 inches, and it's easily removable from down here. If you can see this little bolt, this is going to come out today because we're putting a Jeep Wrangler, a 2-door, an actual Jeep, on this lift, and you don't want these pads to be too long because of the short wheelbase of the vehicle. So it's just got 2 of these things here. I'm going to pull this out and we can just put this aside. Now in the rear, it's got even bigger extensions. It'll only go on the rear, and I'll show you why in a second, but we can remove these bolts, and these go right into the tubes here on the lift. That's going to extend this out for longer wheelbase vehicles. You have to have this for minivans. That's what I use it for. I've had the Honda Odyssey on here, and you got to have it because the pinch welds are so far apart. So that's good for that, but for this Jeep, we're going to take it off. Okay, so out there is the Jeep that we're going to be lifting today. So you're going to see the process on how that's done. Now, they work pretty well. I think, honestly though, that this extension plate is a little bit thin for the job. So I've noticed, I don't know if you can see that too well, but there's a little bit of a bow to it. This isn't perfectly flat anymore. Now you'll see they welded this framework onto a sort of a thin plate. This is probably an 1/8 inch, maybe 3/16 steel, and they put this frame on it. If I could talk to the engineers of BendPak and give them any of my thoughts, it would be that these extensions need to be beefed up a little bit. I'm not worried about the car falling on my head or anything like that, but I don't know how long-term this is going to be, because it seems normal for me to use this. These are almost always on the lift, and I'm almost always using this front extension, the short one, when I'm lifting up sort of a normal mid-size car. Okay, you'll see in a moment after we let the lift down that this cover plate has this hinge to it, and notice the size. This is the size of that extension over there, and if we walk back here, this bigger plate covers up that bigger extension. These cover plates are pretty heavy steel plates. It's what you're going to be driving on when you drive on the lift. Now underneath here you can see some of the inner workings. Here we've got 3/4 inch bolts that are bolting it to the concrete. We'll talk about installation later. And also here at the bottom of the scissor is the lock. This is just a lock plate that works on gravity. It's got a bevel here and an opposite bevel on this side, so it can float over the top of these dogs that are welded to the bottom of the lift when you're lifting it, and when it comes down it locks in place, and that's your safety. So safety is one of the things that I was concerned about when I was buying a lift. BendPak has this safety feature which technically isn't necessary. The hydraulics will hold up the car probably indefinitely, but I like knowing that this steel right here is keeping the lift from moving while I'm under a car, and I don't get a car falling on my head. It's just peace of mind. I've seen a lot of lifts out there. We've got construction going on. So I've seen a lot of lifts out there. I've been to trade shows, I've seen online. Some of them don't have these safety locks, and it's a little bit disappointing. BendPak does have them. Now it's air operated, so if you look right down here, we've got an air hose that you have to install, and this is just a ram which activates this little arm here. That arm will pull up the lock so that you can let the lift down. See that little pink right here, this little cap? I had to add that because the lock was getting stuck. It just barely didn't clear some of these dogs, and so I added this just to give it a tiny bit more height, and it works perfectly. So that was pretty easy to do, but it was one flaw that I did find with this lift in particular. Okay, so these covers can come down, and we're ready to put the lift down on the floor so you can see what it looks like. That's been down for a long time. So you can see what it looks like when it's kind of a slow process. When a car is on the lift, it's going to go a lot faster, but we need that weight to kind of push it down. Look at it now. The shop looks like just a regular garage. Yeah, there's a lift there, but you can walk right over it. You can roll your chair right across it. So I don't have 2 posts or 4 posts getting in the way. I've got a nice clear floor, but there's give and take. So when I have this lift in the ground like it is, that loses about 6 inches of height. So yes, it is a full rise lift, but I have to stoop to get under it because of that. So that's something that you're going to have to consider when you're installing a lift, whether you want it to be in the ground and flat or above the ground and give you more height. So you see me in a lot of videos on a creeper chair like this, and I really like using it. It makes me pretty fast, like I can just kick myself around and roll around right here in this area, this hallway between the 2 scissors. And I like doing it except when I'm doing heavy work. If I really have to pry on something or pull a transmission out or something like that, I'm on wheels, so I gotta kind of stoop and do it this way so that I have good footing on the floor. It's one of the drawbacks of having the lift the way that it is, but I think it's worth it for me because I wanted that clear floor. I've got this clear floor. Now BendPak tells you, I think it's 6 inches that you want to get a flat floor. And see this hinge here? That's flat with my main floor surface, but the deck is lower. So you're gonna wanna decide how you wanna do it. If I had to do it all over again, I'd lift it up to where this deck is flat with my floor and the hinges would be protruding a little bit. But either way, once that YouTube Lambo shows up, that I'm sure YouTube sends everybody with 1 million subscribers, I'm gonna be able to get that thing on this lift, even though it's one of the lowest ground clearance cars. Okay, so now we're ready for the Jeep. This thing doesn't steer, and I'll show you why. Check this out. I've got straps holding it up right now. Look right here. It's got some zip ties. Pretty funny. The owner was trying to get this steering box off of the Jeep, and he broke all 3 bolts that were holding it on. So it's a little bit loose. I put these straps on here so this thing wouldn't just leave town. And now I have to push the tires around to steer it. The idea here is to get the Jeep centered on the 2 pads. That's going to make lifting it a lot easier. Keep rolling. Okay, stop. We've come across one of the shortcomings of having a lift like this. The Jeep has a really, really short wheelbase, but this particular Jeep has gigantic tires. These are 35-inch tires, so they're pretty big. Now, if you come up here and look straight down, you'll see that the tire comes over the edge of the lift pad. So come back over on this side, and if you look straight down, the tire here also comes over the lift pad. It's going to be a little bit of a problem. With a normal Jeep and normal tires, it would just clear. I moved the Jeep back just a little bit so the rear tires would clear. And this should be all we need to do. Something I've noticed on Chrysler products specifically, including this Jeep here, is the chassis seems to be more narrow than other cars that I've worked on. So another thing that I probably would change if I could reinstall this lift, re-pour all the concrete, is move the lift scissors a little bit closer together, maybe 2 inches, maybe 3 inches closer together, because I almost never use this outside edge of the lift pad, but the inside edge is constantly being used. So I guess it's a Jeep thing. If you look down here, we've got this big bar, this step, and that gets in the way of a lot of the chassis points that I'd like to use. And it also gives us less clearance between the platform and the Jeep. So I think the best thing to do, the safest thing to do, yeah, it's a little bit sketchy, but we're gonna use these jack stands. The Jeep is up, I'm gonna let it down and the weight's gonna rest on this lock. So now this thing is not gonna move no matter what. So we've got it up pretty high. We don't have it up all the way. I don't think it's necessary. We can kind of walk underneath it and see what we've got here. And check out the cylinder here. This lift cylinder, they each have a little weep hole there. That's like a breather hole for air to get in, if you can see that. If I lift the Jeep all the way up, this will leak. It'll actually squirt out hydraulic fluid, which is no good. It means there's a seal inside there that is leaking. I actually sent him an email, and I got an email reply a few hours later asking exactly what was going on. So I explained the problem that I was having, and he said, okay, we'll take care of that for you. And by the way, BendPak has no idea that I have a YouTube channel. I bought this just like anyone else would with my own money. So I was treated the way that any of their customers would be treated. Now come over here and check this out. Inside here is a brand new lift ram. But that's not all. 2 days later, another brand new lift ram came in the mail, and so now I've got 2 brand new rams ready to go. Super excited. They didn't send a seal kit or something like that. Just brand new lift rams. Fantastic. Got some work to do on this Jeep, but my thoughts on this lift: it's very expensive. Scissor lifts are a very expensive way to go. It's just the way it is. This one in particular, I think now is even more expensive, about $2,000 more than what I paid for it just a year ago. Maybe that's tariffs or the economy or something, but that's where you're at. No matter what though, I would recommend getting one from a reputable source like BendPak or Challenger or someone like that, because they stand behind it. You saw that they sent me 2 rams that they didn't have to send just to make sure I was happy with my purchase. So good on BendPak for that. Also safety. I like the safety locks feature down at the bottom. Now the things I would change about the lift, I would 100% move these 2 scissors closer together. I have no use on the outside edge. I would definitely do that. And I think I'm on the fence about whether I would have above the ground or below ground installation. Having ramps and having that lift sort of above ground is, yeah, it's a pain. You don't have a nice flat floor, but now I'm limited to the height that I can lift a car. So 6 feet from here is what I've got. So about 5.5 feet from the surface where I'm walking. Another consideration is if you want the flat floor so that you don't have to drive over ramps, but you still want to have at least 6 feet of clearance, consider not pouring this concrete here, this hallway. That's going to change some things, but you'll be walking more in a trough, the same level as the lift was installed on. So that's a consideration. You're not going to be able to use any roll carts or something like that here in this area because there's going to be a step down, but you're going to have the full height. This is an expensive lift. You're going to spend a lot of your hard-earned money on it. So before you do that, decide whether you're going to install it yourself or hire a company to do it for you. Now I've installed this myself, and of course I recorded it. So you can click right over there and watch that video to see what it takes. I've got plumbing, electrical, and concrete work. So you're gonna see if you can do it or hire somebody. That's gonna be a big part of your decision. And at the end, bonus footage, I'm going to fix those hydraulic rams. So you'll see what that looks like. So click on that link. I'll meet you over there. Thanks for watching. I'll see you next time.